Hi, I'm Angela, and I collect watercolor supplies, watercolors, watercolor pigments, all things art supplies. Yes, I collect them. Is it a problem? I don't think so. I don't think so. Others may disagree, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree on that. Let me just give a second for the stream to start and people to pop in. And hello, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. Today, as the thumbnail said, I am sharing with you some of the things that I got from my latest art supply haul. Did I need new watercolors? No, probably not. But I have to say that one of our patrons over on Discord said it so perfectly. Michelle said when I shared the stream today, does any of us need it? Do we want to see it? You bet. So yeah, did I need them? I don't know, but I did get some and I'm excited about them. So I'm going to share them with you today. Now, this is part of a bigger art haul. I'm not showing you all of that today. If that's something that you want to see, drop me a comment and let me know, hey, you want to see that. And also, I have a vintage art haul that I have yet to show you. I got it when I went out on one of my first plein air adventures of the season with a few of my artsy friends from YouTube. You guys might know who I'm talking about. And they've all shared their little vintage hauls, but I haven't shared mine yet. So if you are interested in seeing that, I got some pretty cool things. And make sure you drop me a comment because, I will do a video on that separately. And if you want to see the rest of the haul from where I got the supplies I'm showing you today, also drop me a comment because I will be happy to just record a quick video sharing those items with you so that you can see them. All right. So I have one of my medium palettes. This was not part of my haul, but I told you it's watercolors, right? Spoiler alert, watercolors. So I'm going to want to swatch these out so you can see them. I want to see them. Okay. And stay tuned because I have to share. I don't know. Is this like one of the biggest tubes of gouache I've ever seen? I think it might be. That's coming up also. Okay. So first off, I grabbed me some new watercolors. Let's take a look at what I've got. So first off, I shared with you all that I've been watching a few artists here on YouTube and I'm really loving not only their style, I don't know if I should call it their style. I mean, I guess so. Anyways, but I'm also loving their palette. And this is a color, and yes, it is by Daniel Smith, that I have been seeing show up a lot. And I didn't even look at what the pigments were. I saw the color. They kept repeating on, it was a couple different artists that's what they were using. And I was like, I need to have that. I know for a fact I don't have that color in my collection, which if you've seen the gigantic round, all my Daniel Smith colors, you might think like, how is that even possible that you don't have that color? But I didn't. And so I went ahead and ordered it. And that color, again, without even looking at the pigments that were in it, that color is Quinacridone Sienna. I'm really excited about this. And when it came in and I was like, hey, I wonder what pigments are in that color. I usually never order a watercolor without looking at the pigment information because, if I can mix it. And this one is made from a quinacridone coral, which is PR 209. And it says quinacridone gold, PO 48. Well, no wonder I like it, right? It has PO 48 in it. And then nickel azo yellow, PY 150. I think this is going to be gorgeous, even more gorgeous than I have seen like watching other videos on YouTube to see this in person. I'm really excited. So we're going to look at that one. Hello, other Tara, and hi, Wildflower. All right, let's see. Then I got some M Graham. Now, the reason I got M Graham, let me just share this with you. And I picked these up a little while ago. Hi, Joseph. And so this is my little M Graham palette. Now, one of these I did place in here. Actually, I think two of these I placed in here and tried them out. But as you can see, these were the colors that I originally had. And I enjoyed them. So these two are new. They're going to be in this, and we'll talk about that in a second. I enjoyed them. I got them because I hadn't tried M. Graham, and I have heard so many great things about them. And I wanted to see for myself, what is all the hoopla over M. Graham watercolors? And then my friend Shanna from Caution Artist at Play here on YouTube. Let me just grab, this is usually in my plein air bag. So let me just share with you. She sent me, take it out here. There's so much in this little bag. I could literally grab this bag, a water brush. Oh, I forgot to link those. Did I even bring them up? I don't think I brought them up. Anyways, a water brush and a sketchbook, and I would have all the supplies I need for the day. So Shanna sent me, hi Virginia, this little tiny palette with some other colors. She said, hey, I have some colors you don't have. How would you like a little sample palette? And, to try out some other colors. And I was like, yes, please. I'm not going to turn that down, right? So I think I've shown this to you guys before. Look at this little palette. It is adorable. I was painting with this. If you saw my post here on the community tab, there is a new community feature here on YouTube for those of you who are not aware yet. You can actually drop messages to me. If you paint something from one of my videos, you can share an image of that to me right here on YouTube, right in the community area. I love it. I am so excited about that. I encourage you guys to use it. I definitely want to see what kind of things you create, but I've just recently shared an image of what I painted when I went to the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens over the weekend. This past weekend was the big plein air weekend. And then Lou and I actually spent the rest of the weekend down on the coast. I got so many great reference photos. So I'm looking forward to painting some of that. So if you like coastal Maine or coastal paintings, you might want to stick around. So yeah, I use this palette. I love it. I haven't had any problems. M. Graham paints do have honey in them as a humectant to keep the paints moist. I have never had a problem with it traveling. Now, I always keep it flat, as you saw when I pulled it out of my little pencil bag here. And yeah, but I decided, you know what? I think I need to add some of these colors to a palette and kind of grow this palette. Because when this started, let me grab my swatch sheet. Okay, so here is my M. Graham colors on my ceramic palette. So this is what I started with when I was choosing just a basic palette. Let me just cover these. We don't want to be distracting. That's what's in here. So, I mean, you can already see it on there. So these colors, I had the Perline Maroon, right? PR 179. Then I had Mineral Violet, and I label mine. This is a palette from Meeden. So I just take some masking and I stick it on the outside. And I just label what it is. I didn't label that one. I'm pretty sure I will remember what they are. Yeah, I didn't label that one either, but fun. Anyhow, I had PV14. So that is Cobalt Violet. I think that's the one they're kind of doing away with. And I totally understand because I had problems with that one out of the tube. So I think it's a hard one to keep it in its binder together. It likes to separate a lot. Like I had half a tube of binder come out before I had any pigment. It just wanted to settle into the tube. It's really, I definitely understand if that's the one of the ones that they're like, yeah, we're not doing it anymore. And then this one is Mineral Violet. It is PV 16 and 15. That is one that is nice. You can't really see the granulation in this swatch so well, but that one does granulate. And then here was, right, like my basic, of course, I had ultramarine. It's one of my favorite blues. I've been trying to try out like some cobalt blue versus like an ultramarine blue. So I still have that granulation I like, with a blue that's not as warm as ultramarine. However, we had the ultramarine blue. I picked PY 151 Azo Yellow and PR 209 Quin Red. Doesn't that sound familiar? Um, and then of course their PBR 7 Burnt Sienna. Because with these, I knew I could mix my neutral. I could really mix pretty well with these as a primary palette. And then, there's some purples there. I can mix some greens. I thought I'd pretty much be able to do quite a bit with what I had here. And it was a great way to start. So that was my starting point with Mgram. And then Shanna shared with me these just so you can see them larger and have their names. So the PR 254, that was Pyro Red. The PO 73, Scarlet Pyro. PY 43, so that's the natural yellow ochre, right? I'm pretty sure. Please don't be afraid to leave me a comment if I'm mixing that up with PY 42, but I think PY 43 is the natural pigment and 42 that we see most often is a synthetic. Sap green, which is the PG7 PY 110. The cobalt teal, gorgeous color. Look at the granulation that happens in that one. That is so pretty. Then the PB36, that cerulean blue. I love the granulation you get there as well. And the PB15:3 phthalo blue, ultramarine violet PV15, which again, that was in my mineral violet up here. So that was one of the pigments in this. PR259 ultramarine pink. Look at that one. It is beautiful. See the pink underneath, like as the granulation happens and the pink that separates out down below. PBR7 burnt umber, which was different than my PBR7, my burnt sienna. And then also another PBR7 she had was raw umber. And again, look at the granulation in those. Like this is just on that bee inspired paper, but yeah, I love it. And their neutral tint, just two colors, right? PV19 PG7 is their neutral tint. It's gorgeous. I've used that a few times. Now, normally I love Daniel Smith's neutral tint, but I have to say, with just the two colors right there, like I really like that. Um, I really, really like that one. All right. So, which one of these did I want on my permanent to add to my permanent palette? That's what I was thinking when I chose these other colors that are in this our little mini paint haul here. So then we're going to talk about what I might put them in. So we have Quinacridone Violet, right? And that one is, I just turned it away. That is just the PV19. So we had, hello, Toast. We had PV19 and PG7. Now, I don't know if it's this PV19 that is in their neutral tint, but I know that if I have this, right, I could be close. I could be close to being able to mix this up. Not that I can't mix up neutral tint on my own right here, right? That's why these are side by side. I shared that when I made this palette. Ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, those are two that I love to mix as just a two pigment neutral tint. So I got the Quinacridone Violet. We're going to look at all of these. And then this one. This is Quinacridone Rust. Now, Lou and I were away for the weekend, and we went into Sherman's, which is the oldest bookstore in Maine. It is still just a small local bookstore. And I think we have a few of them along the Maine coast. And it's been around the longest. And I saw this, and of course, I had to grab it. And those of you who are familiar with M. Graham already know why. If you've watched the channel, I have to grab it. This is their PO48, right? So this is their quinacridone orange, or like a burnt orange. Quinacridone rust is what they call it. So remember, different companies can call things whatever they want, which is why I always tell you the pigment numbers. So I saw that. It was like the only tube they had. I know it's been discontinued. I know PO48 is not being manufactured anymore. Now, those of you, like, don't freak out. I believe Daniel Smith has put out like that they have plenty of it to keep producing their PO48 paint for some time to come. So I don't think we're going to see that disappear yet, but it is coming. But I didn't care, right? I didn't care. I love this pigment. I have a couple tubes. I think I have a couple tubes and a stick of it from Daniel Smith. Um, and I just didn't want M. Graham to be an exception. When I saw this one, I had to grab it. I couldn't find it. It might still be out there online, but I couldn't find it. So I grabbed that one when I saw it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to get it. We went to another Sherman's, a different one this past weekend because we were in a different part of the coast, and I looked and no, they didn't have it. So I was glad I got it when I did. So the other one that I chose was nickel quinacridone gold. And this is the PY150. So remember that Sienna that Daniel Smith had? It was PO48, it was PY150, and PR209, which if you remember, I have right here. So I might try to see, how many people are missing the Monday mix. I might try to see if I can mix that for you with these little colors from M. Graham. And can we mix it the same? Maybe. Maybe if that PR209 is the same. Nickel, the Quin, the this like nickel azo yellow, this quinacridone gold color, the PY150, that's usually the same. And that's that right there. I can tell you that is that one. So then I also got this one. This is the one that's right here because I can see I made a mess on the tube. And this is Prussian blue, which is now getting all over my hands. This one is a PB27. I love Prussian blue. I love Prussian blue. Prussian blue makes me think of, well, I didn't use it in the sky on this piece, but if you guys remember my collaboration piece that I just did, Prussian blue would have also been a lovely color to choose for this. I was using the Holbein granulating colors, the new moon set. If you missed this, that video did go up Sunday. It was a regular video. And for those of you on Patreon or members, channel members here, you have the full-time version, the long version of this, where you could like paint it right along with me. And I walk you through everything I'm doing step by step. So that is available if you haven't seen it yet and you are a channel member or a patron on the creator tier. That is up. But Prussian blue would have been a gorgeous color. I said in the video how, I might, if I was working with some of those colors, bring in some regular colors. Prussian blue would have been great in that sky. The other one I got was cerulean blue. And the cerulean blue, that one came from here, right? That is oh my goodness, I have the Prussian blue, like, it's even gotten on this tube. I made a mess with it. There we go. So yeah, it is the PB36, which is what we have right here. Right? Look at that. I mean, look at that color. Look at the granulation and the color in that. I love it for the warmer blue. I like this. Of course, I love the granulating colors. I think phthalo blue has its place. But that said, I really like the Prussian blue and I like the cerulean blue a little bit better, especially like when I mix some greens. So it's just a matter of preference. What do you prefer? Let me know. Drop me a comment. And seeing these colors, now I used some of my gift cards. I had gotten gift cards last year for my Christmas and my birthday. They're both near the end of the year. and I hadn't used them yet. I had been saving them because, I didn't want to just buy anything willy-nilly. I wanted to be something I really wanted. And I think adding some M-Gram colors to my palette was a great choice. I have some others in my cart, but I would love to hear from you. Do you like M-Gram? Is there a color that is like a must-have on your palette for M-Gram? I have no intention of going and adding M-Gram colors like I have Daniel Smith colors. I'm not looking to do that. I am looking to keep kind of a small M-Gram palette. Some of you might be chuckling right now. I don't know. But yeah, I really am hoping that I can kind of keep that palette to a small number. Like maybe keep it to like, I don't want to go over 24 colors, right? Like some of you might be going, oh my God, that's a lot of colors. And yeah, that is a lot of colors. So I want to pick and choose my colors wisely and I want to grow it slowly, but I do have some in my cart right now. But before I get that, I would really love to hear if you guys love M-Gram or if you saw one, maybe you saw one in here that you thought, oh, well, you should have added that color to your palette, right? Like I'm loving the sap green. I've used their sap green a few times, especially in my little mini palette here. If I look at my colors, like I've used up a lot of the sap green, so I know I'm going to like that one. This umber, that PBR7, I've used up a bit of that versus the burnt umber. I've used the raw umber more. So I think maybe if I was looking at like one of these, I would go with that because for here, like the burnt umber, I have burnt sienna. And while the burnt sienna is much warmer than this, I think I would rather have just like that. And I don't need four or, 3, 4 or more PBR7s. I just really don't. I do like the granulation I'm seeing in that PY42 yellow ochre. I'm liking that. That's one that I think, maybe that would be a good addition to a palette. This cobalt teal is gorgeous. And I'm just like, what are you going to use it for? How are you going to mix it? Can you justify it taking up a space? As I want to keep this palette kind of limited, but I think that is a gorgeous color. And maybe like I like to paint seascapes and stuff like that. It could come in handy. Yeah. So let me know. What do you think? And then so far I haven't added a neutral tint yet. Um, Again, because I think it's very easy for me to mix it with my burnt sienna ultramarine and get one that I really like to work with. So I don't know. This one is definitely you can see the violet in it for sure. The undertones of that. Let me hold that up one more time so you can have a peek. You can definitely see like those violet undertones. I'm not sure how well that's coming across, but yeah, what should have a place? And then let's talk about what palette. Clearly this one, which again, this is a Meeden palette. I do have a link for the Meeden ceramic palette in the description below. I encourage you to order directly from Meeden. They have given us a discount code that is below. It is code Clark10. Get yourself a discount when you order them. I love this palette. I would absolutely issue. I'm sorry. The National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm watch for my area. I was reading and talking at the same time, which apparently is not advised. So anyhow, I love the size because look at how, I mean, this is a size 10 round. I have no problem getting my brush in these wells. I love this. And if you notice, I tend to only fill them on part of the well, because that allows me to mix up the strength I want out here. And then I can apply that to my painting. These two wells here, I generally use to mix colors together. As you see here, there's some greens in this because I've mixed my own. So yeah, this one also was a mix and this was a mix because I didn't have these extra colors. Now I could add, this one is here. So you figure I'm gonna get Daniel Smith out of there because this is just M-Gram. I could add more, right, to this palette. I don't know where I would put, I don't know where I'd put that blue. Maybe like that. Then my blues would be here. And I have yellows, reds. Maybe. They're not exactly how I would arrange them at that point. And this would fill it up. But I know I'm not done yet. So I don't want to put these on this palette. And yeah, I don't want to put them there knowing I'm going to be adding more very soon. So I don't want to waste the paint. I will use up all of this paint, of course. But I'm thinking I'm going to need a bigger one. So right now you're talking, I have 12 colors, right? Yeah, 12 colors in M-gram that I own, plus these, but I don't have all of these, of course, in tubes. So I was thinking something on the lines of this one, which is also a medium palette. Don't mind me. I don't even remember what I put in this palette. I know I have 3 colors here. I don't know what they were. I had more than one of these. And again, my other one, same thing. I don't remember what I put in there to show you guys, but there was a little bit of something, and I only did a very little bit. So I'm not going to feel bad if I have to wash either one of these out. But these are one of my favorites from Median, because you can take 2 of these, right? Set them together and look at, you see this palette. Let me just bring this over. You see how much space this palette takes up on my desk? Well, 2 of these together doesn't actually take up that much more space than that other palette. Let me do it so you can see just how much more space do they take up. See, it's not actually that much larger, but I have all this mixing space, and each one of these will hold, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 18. 18, 36 colors if I put 2 of these together. These are very reasonably priced. It would not be obnoxious to your wallet to purchase 2 of these. Of course, there is a discount code, but to purchase 2 of these, set your colors up and have that on your desk. And look, I mean, these wells, okay, these side ones are a little bit bigger. So again, this is still my size 10 round. These are a little bit smaller. Perhaps I would put colors that I don't use often or don't need as much of, like a higher tinting strength color in there. But then even these ones on the side, right? These aren't as big as these, but they're not too small either. So this palette's not too bad. I might consider something like this. With 18, maybe I just go with 18 colors, and guess what? Then my M-gram palette only has to be this much room on my desk, right? But I have 18 colors. As far as something for travel, I mean, I do take them out like this, but I don't think I would make like a half pan M-gram palette to travel with, like a full half pan, because they are made with honey. If I touch these right now, I put no water in this palette, but if I touch these are very sticky, especially right now. It is so humid. It's so humid our grass like hasn't even dried off all day. It was wet from rain this morning, it has not dried all day. Um, but anyways, something like this, yeah, I would do some M-gram paint like that and take it out, because if I let it dry for a couple weeks, it doesn't seem to travel out of the palette as long as I make sure I keep them flat, which is easy to do with something like this. But for here in the studio, I love mixing on ceramic palettes. I would absolutely use something like this to put them in. So that's what I'm considering. I am considering cleaning out one of these and making it a permanent home for my M-gram colors. And then if I wanted to add to it, and if it grew, say, a little bit beyond, that limited amount that I was hoping for, it could still fit. I could just use the 2 of these together. And the lovely thing about these paints, with them being made with the honey, especially in the summertime, I'm trying not to make that clank around too much for you. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of these now that you've seen them, so they won't keep being obnoxious. If I take a palette knife, I have one right here. If I wanted to, I could easily, well, maybe not so easily, but I could take these and I could actually go in here. You see that? You see how easy that just moved? Like right now, because it's summertime and the humidity is high, I could scoop each one of these colors out, put it in that new palette, and transfer it over. And then do a painting, use up whatever little bits might be left in here, and simple to move them. Again, because it has the honey as the humectant in the paints. The honey is not, as far as when I talk to M. Graham, the honey is not the binder, it is the humectant. Okay, the humectant keeps the paint moist, and they do use more than just honey. So just put that out there. But the other one I was considering is the big brother to the palette I just showed you. So if this guy could be my new palette to hold my M. Graham colors, and again, I just can take, I can take my masking, pop it on the edges of this to label, just like I did with this. And guys, if you have palettes like this, I absolutely recommend M. Graham, right? Label what it is, because then, unlike me here, you won't be going, what did I put in this palette? If I would have simply stuck a piece of tape on the bottom, and look at that, you can actually flip this over and use those as mixing wells. But if I would have done that, I wouldn't be wondering what the heck I had put in here, and I would know what this was that I was about to wash out of here. But if this is the little brother, this is the big brother. It is the same exact number of wells, right? So if I say, hey, I want to limit my M. Graham palette to 18, this would be an option. And let's look at how big that is on the desk. Yeah, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten says, did you say if the palette grew? You mean when it grows? Yeah, I know. I know. I like to think that I have a little self-control in that, but I don't, because they're just, watercolors are so lovely. All right. You guys, you can't even see that on here, can you? I'm just gonna, all right. So see, if this is the big brother. And again, this is from Meeden. That guy fits like almost in the mixing space. So you can see it takes up a little bit more real estate on the desk. Do you have that much more real estate? If you do, I mean, I say go for it, because look at these wells, even the small ones. I have no problem with a size 10 round getting in there. How about this? This is my Princeton Neptune size 6 quill brush. I can put my quill in there if I wanted to. Definitely in these, no problem. And the ones on the sides are just, they still are just slightly larger than the ones back here, at the top. But this is a wonderful mixing space. And again, I would put my bead of color either at the back here, or at like one side. I think I'd put it at the back, because then I can mix up a little bit of color however I want it diluted out here, and just kind of pull in color into that wash. And then I could take from there and mix colors together out here. So do I go with the big brother? I had thought about saving this for a studio gouache palette. That's why it hasn't been filled yet, because I haven't decided yet. What do I want to what studio gouache? What do I want to put in as my studio gouache palette? I do have the original 22 colors that Daniel Smith put out, but I haven't bought any more of those. And remember, I promised you the biggest tube of gouache I have seen. That's coming soon. I haven't forgotten to share that with you yet. So what palette should I use to put them in? I don't know. I'm still deciding. I have to get the rest of the colors. I've got another order. I still have some gift cards. I am very fortunate that I still have some gift cards left to use. So we're going to look at these colors in a moment so you can see them. I'm just going to put little dots on here for the purpose of swatching them of all of these, with the exception of the Prussian blue and the nickel quinacridone gold, because those are in this palette already. But these guys here, we're going to have a look at all of those. And I had to share with you because remember I said this palette would be, this is one I take out now, and I love this because I've shared my little pochade box with you guys before that I made this guy, right? And this was an old Schminke box. This came, my Haze set of 15 ml tubes came in this box. And when I have the metal palettes, the little metal palettes, one of the first things I always do, I happen to have one from the larger ones here, is pull off this side. I always tend to pull this side off because it never lays flat. It always wants to tip like this. So the watercolors just, I mean, yeah, it has a little bit of a lip to catch that here, but I just don't like this piece. And when I take those smaller palettes, I usually will take out, like if I were to go plein air and I wanted to use those colors, then I would take that out with me. I just don't like this side. It's awkward. It takes up too much space when I'm trying to set things up to hold it, but I found a use for it. I put it, my little viewfinder, I put it in here. This, all it needed was to be pressed in. It fit perfectly. So I pressed that in there. Now I use this for my mixing space. And I've shared this with you guys before. These are Daniel Smith colors. When I made the card, I'm so wishing, because I didn't even write what the color names. I just wrote the pigment numbers so that I would know what the pigment numbers were, or if it was like a Primatech, like Green Appetite Genuine, I wrote what it was there. I should have gone down the back and written like what all the actual color names were, because there have been a few times that I've wanted to share with you guys, like, oh, I'm using, yeah, I don't know, I'm using PY42. I know that's yellow ochre, but you get the point. So this little pochade box, I stuck a push pin here. And the reason was because this thing will actually open and it would lay completely flat. Well, when I go out painting, I don't want it to lay completely flat. I want this to stay up so that I can paint. And I took a little sponge. I think this came with like some of my Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. When they ship those to you, they're in like foam little sections, and then they have one of these on top. And I was like, this is perfect, because in here I just have some watercolor paper that I already cut to size. So I can take out a piece and paint on that. And I would put it in front of this so that I don't get any of my other paper wet. I have that. But the way I like to use it is like this. So I'll take my little, I'm just going to kind of tip this here. Take my little mini, I love painting in this little guy. My little mini sketchbook. Okay, hopefully we're back. Hopefully we are back. I am waiting a moment to see if it reconnected. Keeping my fingers crossed. All right, it looks like we're back. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. Thank you, those of you who are in the chat, still hanging on, waiting a moment. Hopefully you're still here. Okay, so I think we got it fixed. I don't know what happened. I just looked up and it was like, hey, you're not streaming. Okay. So what I was starting to show you this box, and from what I looked on my YouTube part where it froze, it looks like I was just about right here. So I will take my little tiny sketchbook, and I can easily take some clips. I don't have a bunch up here, but I would take some clips, right? And maybe clip my little, I can clip my pages to hold them so that I can paint. And they would stay open like that. So let's imagine we have other clips there. and I would just hook one on here. And I take, when I use, because normally when I go out and I paint, I'm just going to use this to keep my page down for now, just for demonstration purposes. So when I go out, I will use, with this setup, a water brush, and the Gouache brushes from Pentel. That's like the first water brush I actually really liked. And I take this one. Let's see if I can slide that up there. It looks like I had a hitchhiker from the last time I was out. Okay. There we go. And boom. I will set that right there. So when I'm painting, I have an extra mixing space here. And I can just paint along, clean my brush off. That's why this looks filthy. I can take this out and wash it, right? It's just a regular old piece of kitchen sponge. So I can take this out. I like rip the scrubby side off. And I can wash it. These are watercolors. They'll rinse out. It might be stained, but that's fine. And I don't, this isn't wet. I keep it dry so that when I'm using my water brush, it will like pull water and paint right off that brush and I do it till it's clean, and then go right into whatever other color and right back to painting. So that's how I use this when I am out and about. I could also, if I really wanted to, right? Because I can hold this underneath. This is so tiny that I could actually put my M-gram one right there, have another mixing space plus this mixing space, and I could use some of these colors if I didn't have them here, like this orange. I don't have an orange like that in here. And I do have something similar to that one, but that is PB 36 in my palette there, whereas this one is PB 28, that one right there. So anyways, but that's usually how I do it. Or if I'm painting with a regular brush, then the other thing that I do is I have one of the 2 reservoir cups. I didn't bring that up with me. It's downstairs with my go bag, but I have 2 of the cups, the little metal ones, and I actually have a mini paint pucking one. If you guys want to see this, let me know. I will show you it more. But that will magnet right on. And then I will put dirty water and clean water, and they're just this big, like this. But you would be surprised if you always use the dirty with the paint puck. That clean water stays really clean. And I can do an entire painting without changing my water and still have clean water, as long as I don't mistakenly put my brush in my clean water, which, it happens. So Carol said, what size are those little pans in my pochade box? So these, I was looking and I can't remember where I purchased them. I looked on Amazon. I could not find a link. But yeah, so that's my little setup. So the reason I was showing you this is because if I wanted some of these new colors, well, I'm going to have to do something either similar to my little pochade box here, or I actually have a board that will go into my next size up, my next size up sketchbook that I bring, and it could clip on to that, but I would have to do something like this for my M-gram colors because, I want them to be small. I want them to be able to pretty much dry out. I don't want to have to worry about if they jump out of the pan, am I going to lose a bunch of paint? Like I have another portable painter, but I wouldn't want to put them in that because that's half pans. So we're just going to set that there. I'm not forgetting about your question, Carol. So these are like these guys right here. And they did not come in this case. Again, this is me seeing everything I see everything as a watercolor palette. I saw this little plastic container. I was like, oh, I could turn that into a watercolor palette. So this, I wouldn't be able to use like that because it's not metal. I'm going to need something metal. But these pans, let's answer Carol's question before my brain does forget. These are tiny, but they're not mini. I have smaller ones. Like these I did get off Amazon. These are little tiny mini pans, and they call them that, mini pans. But look at the size, right? They're like half the depth or just over half the depth. But as far as they're just over half the height, they're little squares. These hold so much more than these do. And it's a little bit easier to get your brush in these than it is something like that. So I don't remember where I bought them. I hate to say but I don't. I didn't see it on Amazon. So yeah, I'd have to hunt for them. But they're rectangular mini pans. They are like 1.5 centimeter by 1 centimeter by half a centimeter deep. And I did centimeters because that would definitely it just works with these. As far as inches go, about half an inch on the inside by about, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16 on the inside, 3/8 of an inch on the outside. And they are about 3/8 of an inch deep, roughly, if you wanted it in inches. You know what? It might have been something I actually found on Temu, and I thought and I don't usually order from them. But it just happened to be the size. So that's a possibility. I don't know if you guys, if you shop there, fine. I'm not saying do, don't, or have an opinion. Otherwise, obviously, if I did find these there, I've shopped there once or twice. Um, but for something like this, because it's very affordable, and they're just a little tiny, and they were rectangular, and they were just what I needed. They were perfect for my little pochade box. I've even thought about taking them and taking some more of these and doing another, because right here where it's flat, I mean, I don't usually mix up on that space. I thought about doing like this, because then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could get 7 more colors in here. I don't need 7 more colors. I really don't need 7 more colors in this little Pachad box. However, like I could. Obviously, I love my buff titanium or my Titan buff, or whatever the heck Daniel Smith is calling that one, PW6:1. And this PBR7, this is neutral tint. Of course, that one is really being used up. So those three, yeah, I know those three should be on a palette, because look at how much I've like used them up. So there we go. Academy Retrokin says, yay for centimeters. It just seemed to be like that's what they used to measure that to start with, because which also makes me think it might have been like a Temu purchase. Oops, I need to put my little stick back in there. For those of you wondering, what is that stick for? I will use a stick like this, like for measuring. If I'm trying to like hold that up in front of me to measure size wise, and then I can translate that back to my sketchbook. Words are very hard today. So yeah, I tend to keep something like that in there, and it has a point too, so it's also very handy if I want to scratch something on, when I'm painting. Okay, so I gotta make something like this, right? Uh, Larger than quarter pants. Just curious, they're cute. Yeah, so 6 for 99 cents. Like, really? So Carol, as far as like hearing that as the price, I got to tell you that I'm pretty sure somewhere around here I have a bag full of those pans, because I think I bought like 100 of them, probably for a couple dollars, or 50 of them for a couple dollars. So I'll just put that out there. You do with it as you will. Again, I think I probably found those on That was probably a Temu find. Um, Now Let me show you another solution. Okay. Put this little guy back here. So I'm considering, and then we're going to get to swatching and the biggest gouache tube that I think I have ever found. I mean, with the exception of like a jelly gouache pouch, but I don't think we're going to count that. So I got these. These I did get from Amazon. And let me show you what I had in mind here. So this guy, and I looked right now, this design is not available, but I did link it below because other designs are. Nope. Other Tara's guessing a PBO tube? No, I don't know how big those are, but it's not PBO. Okay. So this is shiny. It's very, very shiny. This was listed as a business card holder, right? It's a business card holder. Open it up. You can see, makes sense, right? Business card holder. And I said, that's not a business card holder. That is absolutely not a business card holder. That, my friends, is a watercolor palette. For sure, it's a watercolor palette, right? Like, is there any doubt? I thought about seeing if I could have Lou, this part right here, I'm really considering, can I have him, like, I know he has a tool that will do it, like cut that edge off for me so that you're going to see where, you already know where I'm going with this. I don't know that these will fit. They might. Oh my gosh, they do. The height, absolutely, it does fit. Look at that. It fits. But you see why I would want that cut off? Like, look what I'm losing. I'm losing like a whole row of watercolors here. We can't have that. We just can't have that. So I thought this, I could create a little watercolor palette. I could mix on here. Now, one of the things I thought about doing was taking some resin and making this white. Okay, so let's see. Cadmium red trail kitten asks, what is that gorgeous deep red color in the bottom right well of the palette? This one. I'm assuming you mean this one here. That is M Graham's Pyro Red. It is PR 179. Or excuse me. No. In M Graham, it's called Maroon Perline. It is, I don't know why I said Pyro. It's not even Pyro. It's Perline. Perline Maroon. PR 179. Again, you're going to have to forgive the brain today. All right. I've been having problems with my blood sugar like all day. And it seems that when my blood sugar dips, like my brain is just lost. Okay. So this little guy, if I take one of these clips, oh no, look, I was hoping it would magnet and it doesn't. Well, this could pose a problem. Actually, no, because I could very easily, it's so thin. And this, you see how thin this is? Thin, thin, thin. And I liked that it had like the little dip right here because I was like, I shouldn't have anything roll off. But when I'm mixing, it doesn't usually roll away anyways. But this could easily be clipped, right? It could easily be clipped on. So it's still a valid option, but good to know, guys, even though this is looks like it would stick, it's probably aluminum, but it doesn't feel, or aluminum if you are not here in the US. So yeah, that, it feels like it would be a metal that would be magnetic, but it's not. But maybe if we do what I was planning, it might become magnetic. So let's talk about that. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is a huge tube of gouache. Other terraces, the PBO ones are like 200 milliliters, I think. That is like monstrous. That's crazy. All right, I got these. These little guys, haha, are very much magnetic. These are little metal pans. Look at those. Now, yeah, they're shallow, but they would very easily trying to keep it from catching like everything that's above me so that you can actually see what we're doing and not reflections of everything else in the studio. There we go. So these, right, these could go in here. Now, right now, like how are they going to stay there? And these are larger. So they're about the same size-wise as like a half pan, right? For the top. Okay. So a brush is going to fit like it would in a half pan as far as being able to put your brush on that paint. I'm not worried if I have to fill it often, but what I did was I got this and I could fit these, for those who are wondering, are metal, like they're actually metal pans that you'd put like eyeshadow in. Okay. We could put, we can put 3 rows of those in there by however many are going to fit this way. Looks like 21 colors, right? Like it was just made for that. 21 colors. Okay. I got these magnetic sheets. And again, I linked all this in the description. So these sheets, I figured they're adhesive. If I cut one, because there's plenty of room for the thickness of this sheet too. And if you guys want to see me build this palette, let me know. I'm not doing that today. But if you want to see me actually build this thing, I don't think that would be too long of a video to make. We could definitely do that. So magnetic sheet, I can cut it. It's adhesive. I plan on cutting it to fit into this space. I'm going to try to get Lou to cut this off for me. For sure. I just want this top edge to be gone and make it smooth so I don't cut myself. I'm going to stick the magnetic sheet to it, and then I would have to wonder if the magnet was in there and there were these pans on top. Would my magnet then grab it? Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. So see, now it will become magnetic and I can absolutely use it like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And then this would give me up to 21 colors. So I could take my M-gram colors, put them in here, and now I would have a nice small palette. I'm just going to leave those in there for now. Right? Takes up, well, it's going to take up twice as much space as this does when it's open. But as far as, look, travel-wise, like, that's going to take up no space at all. I could easily, like, slide that in to any, like, there's a pocket. I have a sketchbook that has a pocket in it. I can just slide that in the pocket of my sketchbook. Throw this thing in my pocket. Grab my water brush in my pocket, and out the door I go. All I have to carry is my sketchbook with this in the pocket. So that is something that I'm looking at for travel purposes to use, so I can take these because I love them. But I don't want to take, like I said, a big thing of M-gram and have it like jump and go all crazy on me. So let me know in the comments whether you're here live or on the replay if you are going to, if you want to see that build out. And after I get the rest of my M-gram colors in, be sure and let me know. There's a color you think that is a must-have. I will have to take a look at it, see if I want to add it to what I get. I need to look and see, do they have a Titan buff? I think they do, but I don't know. I don't know if they do. I am not as familiar with M-gram. Like I said, it is newer to me. I've had them for a little while, but not painted with them enough. I have done a bit more plein air with them because I love this little palette. All right. We're going to swatch some of these colors, and then, actually, do I have a scrap? That's a full sheet of paper. I'm going to cut this one here that had my same paper. It's the Be Inspired paper. But this was when I first swatched my Holbein the 6 granulating moon colors. That was them on that paper. Again, that collaboration is up. You can, if you haven't seen it yet, all of us have our videos went up Sunday. So that was the Frugal Crafter, Caution Artists at Play, Karen Clark Creations, and myself. And then those of you who are channel members or patrons of the creator tier or above, this was my painting, and you have the version where it's the long format, me walking you through everything that I'm doing. Great blooper happened in that one. And I left it in. Of course I left it in because why not? Let's just say I threw my paintbrush. It was, you got to see me overcome some tragedy there. All right, let's look at these new colors, and then we're going to check out the gouache because I want to see, one, what kind of coverage does it have? Is this a gouache that I might want to invest in? I don't know. The nickel azo yellow, no, the nickel quinacridone gold, as far as M. Graham calls it, it is PY 150, PO 48. So it is a mixture, which is the nickel azo yellow and the quinacridone gold. So nickel quinacridone gold. Right here, we're going to take a look at these colors. Just grabbing my Princeton Velvet Touch brush. This is my size 6 round. These aren't wet. I haven't pre-wet them. I mean, they're soft because it's very humid today. Let's take a look at that. One thing I love about the M. Graham paint is they definitely re-wet so easily. Look at this color take off. It goes. It goes. Love it. Okay. Let us then look at the Quinacridone Rust. Again, this is just the PO 48. I am hoping that none of these are going to want to explode on me. I'm just going to take it right from the tube. Just going to wet a circle. Probably more than I need. I'm going to actually put some of this on my palette because remember I said I wanted to try to mix this guy for you. See, you can see the PO 48 that's in that color right there. I love these colors. So as I shared with you, there was another artist, and I've just been loving what I've been seeing. I've got yellow all over my fingers. And they've been using the quinacridone sienna, and I just keep seeing that color show up, and it just keeps getting my attention. And I thought, I have to get it. I have to give it a try. So here's our cerulean blue. This was the PB 36. Now, for those of you who don't know, okay, if you're like, I don't like to paint with cobalts, PB 36 is a cobalt. It is a cobalt color. They don't call it cobalt blue, right? There is a cobalt blue, but this is another cobalt blue. So you will hear it called cerulean blue, but PB36 is actually a cobalt. I just want to get plenty of water in here because you should see some granulation happening with this one. I think I got some on my paper. I didn't even see that. Do you guys paint and like all of a sudden like there's paint all over you? Yeah, that's me. Oh, look, it fell into a little heart. See it right there on my paper? Hi, Burley. All right. Let's look at this Prussian blue. Love this color. This is the PB27 that, of course, did make a mess on me the very first time I opened it. I'm not opening it today. It's already right there in that palette. But I'm just gonna clean off some more of this tube because it's covered in paint. Look at that. Look at it go. This is a nice, cool blue. It leans more towards green. You can't do a circle very well today, apparently, either. There. Now maybe when I touch that tube, I'll stop making a mess of myself. But they just re-wet. So lovely. Look at that. See how like you can get this rich, deep blue. Water or some skies. Sorry if I just bumped that microphone. And it just wants to move around in that water. And then the other one that I got was the Quinacridone Violet, the PV19. I got this because I thought it would really complement and complete this initial palette. With this red is going to look a bit more warm in comparison. Let me show it to you again. That is the PR209, that quinacridone red. It's kind of I chose it because it was kind of middle of the road. It didn't look like it was leaning, goodness. It didn't look like it was leaning too much towards orange, but it didn't feel like it was coming back too much towards blue either. And that's why I chose that for my just limited 3 with the PB29, PY151, and PR209. But now, again, this PR254 Pyro Red, that one, I think that is a nice neutral looking red as well. That's in my little travel palette here. I wanted one that was going to be more like a magenta, like red. We're going to see what this Quin Violet looks like. I think it will help expand my mixing ability of my palette. So in the interest of keeping my numbers limited, I also wanted to choose pigments that were going to be good for mixing. Oh, Cadmium Red Trail Kitten says that she has M-Gram from many years ago, and they're not as whooshy as these are. They must have reformulated. Well, I don't know. as much to say reformulated as I would say, do you have these pigment numbers? Do you have these pigment numbers? You might try them and see, do they whoosh a bit more? Because certain pigments will and certain pigments won't. Of course, this one didn't. And it's cobalt. It's heavier. Just kind of went where I put it and granulated out, and it's looking gorgeous right now. But this one, this Prussian blue, right? The PB27, that one wanted to take off. The PO48, that one definitely wanted to take off. And PY150, that loves to take off. And that, of course, has the PY150 and the PO48 in it. And so this one is looking so cool with its separation. Wait till I bring that one up close. Toast says, I love M Graham. Their Azo Yellow PY151 is the perfect middle yellow, right? Their Quin Rose and Anthraquinone Blue are also standouts. I'll have to take a peek at those. Um, let me just grab, I'm looking for where I just put it's right here. Yeah, see, I don't have, well, I do have the Azo Yellow, of course, that one right there. And that was my choice too with the yellow. That's why I chose that one. It seemed like a nice middle ground. It wasn't leaning too orange and it wasn't leaning too blue. It just seemed like a really nice neutral yellow. And that was why that made my choice when I could only have 3. It's hard when you're going to say, oh, I only want 3 colors to be a primary set. And I encourage you to try 3 colors with what you think is I'm just going to use little air quotes here, neutral red. Like I said, these look kind of not leaning more one way or the other per se. I mean, of course they're going to slightly. Trying a palette like that with 3 colors and then trying it with like a magenta and see how much more you can mix with that. I think you can tend to mix a little bit more. All right, so here we go. Let's take a peek at what their Quinacridone Violet looks like. And this was another one I think was in the PB19, right? 150, 48. No, it's the 209. Okay, I don't need that on there, but it's fine. It is fine. Let me pull that back in the tube a little bit. If you gently squeeze, gently apply a little bit of pressure at the bottom of your tube, that can suck that paint back down in there sometimes. Just for those who maybe needed to hear that. And this is, again, another one that likes to take off. A PB19. Look at that one go. So this is kind of similar to these. However, it was, again, my hope that this would add to the mixing capability of this palette. Whereas if I had to give up one of these in order to get this, honestly, it might be, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard because the mineral violet I like. The cobalt violet it's difficult. And eventually that's going to be gone. And then obviously, I wouldn't be buying it again. They're not producing it anymore. But look at that color. So pretty. All right. Ooh, and we have to take a peek at the Quinacridone Sienna from Daniel Smith. So this one is going to add into my palette somewhere because, well, I definitely want to have a go. Like, see how that is like rising up out of the tube. But if I gently squeeze on, put a little bit of pressure, see how it pulls back in? So just gentle. Don't go squeezing tight. It will go the opposite direction. Not what you would want. Actually, I'm going to put this one kind of in the middle because we're going to see if we can mix one like this. All right. Are you ready for this one? Oh, I just saw it. I've seen it a few times and I'm like, wow, it takes off. It's beautiful. I could absolutely see this in some landscapes. All right. Just going to pull a little bit out of this cap here just to put up here so I can see it. For those of you missing the mixing videos, this is for you. Let's take a peek. So those are my new colors. Look at that one. That is that nickel quinacridone gold, the first one. Look at how the PO48 like separates and comes to the surface. It's gorgeous. And then we have our quinacridone rust. That is just PO48. Next one up, that blue. Look at the granulation. That is our cerulean blue. It is a true cerulean. That one is the, excuse me, PB36. And then next up, look at that moody blue. PB27. It's like, hey, I have a little bit of granulation, but yet I like to take off like a quinacridone would like to take off. It just says, look at me. you just want to use me. I love that color. And then of course they're not that those aren't dry yet, but look at that quinacridone sienna. She's gorgeous. The way the light catches that, the way the light comes through. So the question was pigment number for the Quin Sienna. So Quin Sienna is PR209, which we have right here with our M gram, right? PR209. Let's see if we can't mix something similar. PR209. And then it has PO48, right? PO48, that's this one. So this one here, let's bring that down, bring some of this in. And it has PY150. Okay, so PY150. Now, our nickel quinacridone gold is PO48 and PY150. It's 2/3 of it right there. So we're going to give that a shot too in a moment. But this one, our nickel azo yellow, is PY151. And I'm just going to give it a try. We're just going to give it a try. I know it's not 150, but we're going to see. Can we get close? I need more of our PO48. Which is just clean my brush off before I do that. And I need to clean that too. Pull a little bit more of that in. I'm looking at it here. Ready? Let's see. I don't think it's quite there, but it is kind of close. And I didn't have it. I didn't have that all wet to see, but remember, this is 150 and 48, which is this guy right here. So if we mix this one, that's the color we're trying to match right there. We mix this one with our 209. Start off slower. I always say that. I always go too far. I think it needs to be more heavy with the PO48. That's this one. I don't know. And that's why sometimes I think it's worth it to buy that convenience color, because there's just something about it, right? There's just something about the way when you touch it, the colors want to take off. And that is actually really pretty close. That's actually really close. Yeah, that is really close. So it was like the nickel quinacridone gold with a little extra quinacridone rust thrown in and a touch of the quin red. And we have something similar to our quinacridone sienna. But I just think that quinacridone sienna is a gorgeous color. And I'm looking forward to trying that. Look at that. I think that's pretty close. Hey, Caution Artist at Play. Shanna, that is who I was talking about. My M Gram palette, courtesy of Shanna right there. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's got to dry, and I really needed to be a little heavier with the color to look exactly like this one is looking, but I think that's pretty darn close. I'm going to call that a win. But yeah, Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Sienna. I am not disappointed. Definitely does not disappoint in person. This with a little bit of the nickel quin gold in like a landscape to be like a sunset, set off some fiery looking skies. That would be gorgeous. You want to see what I'm talking about? I got some paper. We've got some time. Oh, I got to show you my gouache first. For goodness sakes, I have to show you the gouache. The last item in this portion of the art haul. Again, if you want to see the whole art haul, and I won't repeat these parts because I've already shared them, but if you want to see the rest of the art haul, make sure you drop me a comment and let me know, because I can film that. It shouldn't take too long to film that and share that with you. I've got some cool new things that, yeah, I can't wait to try. Thanks. I miss mixing. That's a lot. It was a lot of fun doing like the Monday mixes. Again, if I would have left this heavier, like I did here, I think would have been like spot on. All right, here it is. I finally got to go to, we have a little artisan supply shop here in Maine, in Belfast, and it is called Fiddleheads. And Lindsay over at the Frugal Crafter is the one who like put this shop on my radar. And the other chair says, I miss the Monday mixes. It's a lot of fun. I love playing with color. So I have been dying to be able to get down there. Well, this weekend we were on the coast and we took a drive on the way home. We drove from where we were staying in Booth Bay Harbor here in Maine, and we drove up the coast to Belfast. And I got to go to Fiddleheads. I was like, I don't care what we do, but I want to go to Fiddleheads. So that's what we did on Father's Day. And the rest of the day was more about Lou, but it was fine. I was looking for M-gram watercolors, right? I was looking for more M-gram watercolors. They didn't have them. They had M-gram gouache. They had other products from M-gram, but they didn't have watercolors. I was like, oh well, I'll just get a tube of white gouache because I want to try their white gouache. And if I like the coverage in the white, maybe I'll explore some of their other colors. Because again, I am looking for a gouache that I want for my studio palette. And I do have the original 22 colors that Daniel Smith put out. But, I just want to explore options before I make a commitment. So Lou was just looking for M-gram. He was just looking for a tube that looked like this. Because again, he was with me when I found this one. So he knew what I was looking for. He goes, well, they have these over here. And I was like, well, that's gouache. So I had the tube of white gouache in my hand that was the same 15 ml tube, same size as this. And then he grabs this box. He goes, well, what's this? Because he saw this. And I was like, wait, that says gouache. And then I looked and I was like, what? So this was 15 mLs, and this was 59 mLs. So you do the math, that's almost 4 times as much. And of course, it was 4 times as much for 2 times the price. How could I not get this one? It's artist math. You can't go wrong. You have to get the one that costs twice as much because you're getting 4 times the amount of paint. So I did. And I was like, holy cow, I did not know that, because the Daniel Smith tubes are 15 ml, right? So I did not know. I haven't even got this out of the box yet. I didn't know the M-gram made big tubes, but yes, they do. Look at that thing. Again, maybe it's not the biggest tube of gouache, but that's a pretty big tube of gouache. Just saying. I see lots of laughter in the live chat here. So apparently you all completely understand my artist math and know there was no way I was walking out that store without paying twice as much for 4 times as much paint. I just couldn't do it. No, when you're holding a tube like this for $9, and I was holding a tube of this for like $18. And again, online, now the price, I love being able to support small local art shops. I encourage all of you to go out if you have a small local art supply store and show them some love, because I looked this up on Blick while I was in the store. I looked it up. I looked at the price and I was like, oh, no, 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 I did not. I looked up the tube of this size, and it was like a penny less. And I was like, why would I order it on Blick? I can buy it locally and support this little shop that I want to see stay around, for my future art supply finds. So then I was like, well, if this tube is priced well for Blick, this must be priced well. I didn't even look. I was just like, I'm getting it. Because again, 4 times the paint, 2 times the price. No brainer. So I got it. And I came home and yeah, it's definitely cheaper than Blick. So it was like a $10 tube and a I think it was like $23 at the time I looked it up for this size tube. And I got it for $18. So win-win, because I helped my local art supply store and I got a deal. In fact, 4 times the paint, I got a steal, right? Artist math. So yeah, let's take a look at how's the coverage? How is the coverage? I don't know. I have never tried the M-gram gouache before. I wanted a new, so I had some Turner gouache. Was it Turner? Excuse me. It was not Turner. It was Royal Talent. I had a tube of Royal Talent white gouache in my art bag, right? It was in here to take out with me. And the last time when I actually needed my white gouache and I reached for it and I went to squeeze it out, yeah, it was chunky and nasty. And I didn't like the consistency. And I was like, you know what? Not for me. And I tossed it. Um, I do have in here a little tiny container. This has my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. But you know what? Sometimes you just want gouache. And yeah, I want to try this out. I do have a perfect little container I'm already thinking of to put it in so it can't travel on me. when I go out for plein air painting, and hopefully this is not going to want to, nope, okay. Not going to want to take off. I want to make sure my brush is good and clean because I'm just going to grab some off the top of this tube. All right, so that looks liquidy. There's a bit of liquid and it's thicker inside. And I don't know if I can shake it, if that's going to help. Again, see, you get it. Burley gets it. Yes, absolutely. I just want to see. I don't know. I might not do anything, but oh, that's better. It did. That helped a little bit. Let's just take a little dollop of this out of the top here. My brush was clean. I would not have done that and risk contaminating my tube. All right. M. Gouache. Who's used it? Do you love it? Oh, look at that. Is this something that I maybe should consider? Look at that coverage. That is awesome. We'll let it dry and see if the blue leaches up into it. It might, it might. It was dry, but let's see how it looks over top of the PO48. Yeah, see, the more brush strokes, it leaches some of that up in there, but that's okay. That is excellent. I love that other Terra. I love that. You absolutely, I can't encourage you enough. Don't assume, right? I always say don't make an assumption because you know the whole saying about assume, right? It's like you and me. But if you make an assumption, that just is you and assumption doesn't involve me and it's fine. But still, don't make either when it comes to your local art shops. Don't make either. Go in, check them out. There are deals that are waiting to be found in there, and your business is helping keep them open and keep them around for the duration. And we need those little shops. We need those little shops. I love, look at that color. It's gorgeous. See, when I pull that across, I'm definitely pulling some of that orange into it. So, thinking like, oops, I almost just put that in my clean water, which would not have been clean anymore. Okay, so Arcuda 2001, I hope I said that correctly, says, I use M. Gouache quite a bit. I might have to get a few more colors, and my bleed proof white is in need of some loving. I'm gonna have to put some distilled water in here because it's getting dried out. If you have a tube of bleed proof white, it's a great way to share that with you guys. If you have a tube of bleed proof white, I definitely recommend if it starts to look like that. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Get my other hand up there. That is looking quite dry. I actually have two little ball bearings that I put in this. Like right now, I would tip this upside down and yeah, no fear of it pouring out on me. I will just add some distilled water to this because I mean, it's like way down here. It does get a little dry. That can happen over time. It's not ruined. Put a little bit of distilled water in there and mix it up and she will be fine. Not too much, just enough to get it going. Like I said, I've dropped two little ball bearings in mine. It's so thick that it's not even going to get them going. But Yeah, no. And I will put just a little bit of distilled water in there, shake it, and then keep doing that. Like you can take a toothpick and mix it in. You don't want to add too much because, you know, if you dilute it, then yeah, it's not going to be as opaque. But it's not ruined if it starts to get like that. So that was the bleed proof white. There is the M gram. Look at it on that blue. Oh yeah. I like that. That would be good for when I want a gouache to put in my bag and to be able to add some like white highlights or something. I like that. It's a good thing too because we have plenty of it, don't we? The other chairs are sadly the watercolors are not so keenly priced. Yeah. Um oh, I've heard of that brand, but I have not tried them. We're talking about Wallace and Seymour. Oh, interesting. As an art supply store, Virginia McKenzie says it looks like someone is taking over Cheap Joe's Asheville store. They're supposed to open on the 4th of July. So still as an art supply, that'd be fantastic. And again, I definitely encourage you, go check out your local art shops. You never know what kind of little treasures you are going to find in them. And if you're interested in some vintage treasures that I found in an art shop up here, let me know because I will definitely share that with you. So, what did you guys think of my little haul here? My new colors. Please let me know what colors do I absolutely need to add to this palette. I got to figure out where I am fitting this Quinacridone sienna into my Daniel Smith colors because I want to experiment with that some more. Um, Now I did tell you, right? What time is it? Okay, we have time for what I was thinking. I have oh, I'm playing Art Supply Jenga over here. Okay, my medium watercolor block. This is a 10 by 7. I probably should grab one that's smaller, but you know what? It's fine. That seems to be the mantra around here, right? Like it's fine, and it is fine. Just grab it and play. Um, see, yeah. So and Shannon knows. Shannon knows some of the things I've gotten recently. Says you definitely need to do an art haul video to show off the other goodies you have gotten recently. Oh, and she was there. So she was there when I went into the get the vintage art supplies. I say vintage because this store has not been touched like in years because just with things that happen, it's family business and they had to help in other parts of the business. And so the art shop kind of was like by appointment only and new things weren't coming in because, you know, if it's not open all the time and things aren't going out, you're not going to be buying stuff to replace. So there was some vintage supplies in there. And yeah, Shannon says, you made out like a bandit the day we went shopping. I did. And I will share that whole story with you guys if you want to see it. So let me know in the comments because I have all of that in a bag just waiting for me to bring up and integrate into the studio. And I got some pretty interesting things that day. Um, yeah. Okay. I want my size 10 round. I've got that Quin Sienna right there. And I think I want a little bit more. I think I want a little bit more on my palette. All right, we're just going to start off. We're just going to wet this thing, right? I'm just going to throw some water down on here. Not really thinking. We're just going to go intuitive because these we can kind of do pretty quick. And why not? Why not? See if we can't get a painting. Or at least see how the colors flow. Apparently I had some lint on either my brush or my paper because now it's on there, but it's fine. Nice. Virginia says, yes, your art hall needs to be shared. So I will. What I'm going to do, um, it looks fine on my end. So hopefully the internet connection is not having a problem this time since we restarted. Um, what I'm going to do is I will share them with you. I will share both the vintage haul and the haul of the new supplies. And oh, well, isn't that interesting? That is our local art shop doubled as a dive shop, like scuba diving. Um, that's funny. Put that there. All right, so there's some more of that quinacridone sienna. We're gonna have a play with that. All right, you ready? Where's my block? I want to elevate this. Usually it's oh, there it is. I'm like, usually it's right here. Again, I've shared these were just it was just like a cardboard corner from a shipping package, and I have one that's the full height and then one that I cut one half down. All right, let's just see what we can get. I'm gonna take a little bit of this yellow. All right, one of the new colors here. This is that nickel quin gold. All right. Now, that like 151 always wants to push your water away. Just wants to be like a bully. Push. All right, here is that quinacridone sienna. See it wanting to take off in that. Pull some of that through. I don't want to work it too much. Grabbing more of the yellow. That was at PY 151. Again, and that just loves to push things away. I could have done like a fall tree, but yeah, my mind was not going there. Just gonna let that kind of flow down. And how about if we grab, I need a clean one. Usually I have a dime on my desk. I like to take a dime, put that in the tissue because the dime just makes a perfect little circle for you to like press, turn, and lift to get like a sun. But, you know, that works as well. There we go. Let's see. I'm like just trying to use like some of what I have here. I really like that. That quinacridone sienna. Maybe there's some clouds. All right, this was our mixture. We'll just use that, use some of that up too. Why not? It's a little darker there. I'm going to drop it in here too. All right. Let's see. Again, I've told you that this makes a beautiful neutral. This is that burnt sienna. Ultramarine blue. Okay, I'm leaving this a little bit more dark, like a raw umber. Let's just put some down through here. Give ourselves some ground to work with. You see how I also use my brush, right? Or my sponge to pull some of that water out of my brush. That is gorgeous. Like, I know I put it on the palette. Where did it go? We used a lot of it up. So I have some full strength on my brush right now. And even though this is wet, my paint is much thicker. It's not going to spread as far. Let's put, trying to think where I want it. I think I want it here, here. Let's go here. Why not? Put a little bit. Let's put a little bit into the foreground as well. Love that color. Love that color. I'm going to take with that. I've already mixed ultramarine blue down here, so why not take a little bit? Let's see what we get. Ultramarine blue. I've grabbed my size 4 long round. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. So, our our Quinacridone Sienna, ultramarine blue, I probably should have like dried this first, but you know, it's fine. Mm, that's quite the tree. Let's kind of bring this together. Got a little carried away there. Oh boy, it's okay. I'm gonna dry that real quick, so I know what I want it to look like. Just gonna bring a little bit more of that color back. Right from the sky. Okay. I'm going to mute this for just a moment so I can grab the dryer. And, you know, in case anybody's watching with earbuds or something, not destroy your ears. All right. Now, let's continue. Like that heat wanted to dry this too. There we go. That's better. Get ourselves a tree there. Add in some. It has a very fall vibe to me right now. It's kind of getting lost. Not exactly what I was looking for, but that's all right. Let's see. It's adding a little burnt sienna to that quinacridone sienna. All right, I just feel like if the sun is really bright, this is going to kind of be darker. If it's fall, I don't know why we're painting a fall painting in the summer, but you know, it's because of the color. It's because of the color we're trying out. I could have gone other directions with this. That's where we ended up, right? But intuitive painting, this is what happens. If you haven't tried it, definitely recommend. Let's just take some more of this, and how about if we just get like, look like we got some grasses or something coming up in the front here. All right, see, this is dropping a lot more of the paint where I don't want it to. Look how nice that lifted. Which is where these brushes come in hand. I have shared these with you guys recently. These are by Golden Maple. These are their needle brushes. There is a great discount code in the description. If you have not seen these brushes in action yet? All right, let's pick up that paint. Then, unlike that one that just flooded that color right down to my paper, these won't. These absolutely will not. And actually, I didn't pick up enough. I don't have enough there. Let's mix some more paint. Let's take some burnt sienna. Oh, we have up here. Bring in some ultramarine blue. There we go. Close enough. These, when we load them up, they hold a lot of paint. A lot of paint. And they just keep going. They do not flood the page with paint when you first touch it. I'm loving these brushes. If you have ever considered trying like a reservoir brush, basically what this is, they call it a needle brush, but it's a reservoir brush. You have all of these bristles here on the belly that hold so much paint, and then you have the synthetic fiber bristles that come to like a needle point. Now, just to note, these have both natural hairs and synthetic, and I did a whole showed these in a live stream a while back and showed you what I mean. Like when I put that in my water to rinse it, the hairs of the brush on this part on the belly, they'll like splay out. If you have a natural hair brush, when you put it in water, you're gonna know it's a natural hair brush because the way that the hair just kind of moves away from, like when you put it in this way, the hair will move away from the brush and like float. It'll just float away. So definitely, thank you. So if you didn't know that, that is an easy way to tell. Synthetic brushes, they don't do that. Um, so these are synthetic, right? And so if I take, those are about the same as far as size wise, like this 4 and the Princeton Velvet Touch 6, like the belly of the brushes. Yeah, it's closer to the 6 than it is the 4. So I'm going to bring this up here in my disgusting water pot just so I can show you, because we're going to look at my clean-ish water. It needs scrubbing, but the water on top is actually clean. If I put this brush in, when I go down, you hopefully will be able to see the brush. See see the shape? It looks the same as when I have the shape out here. Put the brush in the water. The shape looks pretty much the same. This is a synthetic brush. By taking a brush that has natural hairs in it, this has both. The pointy part of the brush is synthetic, but the belly of the brush is a real hair brush. When I set that in the water, watch the belly of the brush. See how that splays out and gets fatter? Like, see how they just splay out. Boom, it comes back. But when it goes in the water, it floats. Think of yourself. Like if you go in water, especially you ladies with long hair, right? If you go in the water and you go underwater, your hair is not tied back. It's just going to float out away from you, right? Natural hair brushes do the same thing. See how it's moving away? If I put this one in there, see how it holds its shape? And the one on the right, much fatter. They're splaying out. Real hairs, synthetic. So that is a great way if you're going, I don't know if my brush is real hair or not. Put it in some water and it will tell you. So I hope that was a little tidbit that helps for those of you who maybe are like, I don't, there are people who don't want to use real hair brushes, and I respect that. So that's why it's important that you know. But this brush is fantastic. Again, I definitely recommend, like, I can take something very, very Let me just, there's a lot of water, right? A lot of water. Thank you. I heard it said by uh different artists, like talking about a natural hairbrush or a synthetic hairbrush and what that means. And I was like, no, that's actually what was being said wasn't actually what it meant. What I just showed you, that's the difference in your brushes. Your synthetic brushes are made to act and work just like your natural hair brushes. But if you don't know what you have, you can easily tell. Just grab a glass of water. And if you have some at home that are perhaps both, like I just got a ton of water on that brush and it is not flooding my page, right? I'm getting these yellow grass looking details that aren't really showing up very well on that spot, but it is adding some warmth to the area. Yeah, drop your brush in a glass of water and you'll see if they splay out, there are at least some natural hairs in there. I'm trying to see another one that is a mixture, right? Let me see if they do. You don't see it as much with one of these. So this is a silver black velvet brush. They're a combination. They have both. When I put that in, see, it gets slightly bigger, right? Like it gets slightly bigger. Not as much as if it was all real hairs. Like the one I just showed you, those are all real hairs around the outside. They really get bigger. But a synthetic, even if I take my like my size 10 round, this again, Princeton Heritage, when I stick that in there, see how the shape, it stays the same. It doesn't look big. It doesn't look like it's growing in size as it goes into the water, other than, how the image in the water would be slightly different. You can tell that that's looking the same. And I apologize because the lights and the reflections and, my my water pot absolutely needs to be clean. Um, but yeah. You know what? Shanna, I read it correctly before I popped it up on the screen. I didn't realize that it wasn't spelled right because I just read it. I knew what you meant. So, anyhow, I love these little brushes, especially for details. They are like chef's kiss. So good. All right. I want to make something like a little darker here, but I just like, maybe I'm done. We had a little extra explanations going on there of what was what and just grabbing a little bit more. Normally I would not pick up my paint with this brush. I would mix my paint with a different brush and then pick it up with this brush, but yeah. So those synthetic fibers in the long needle point center, the way that it just releases. I mean, I've had so many of these brushes that just flood my page soon as I go to touch it. And this absolutely, you saw how much paint I just picked up there. Does not. So these are certainly ones that I would recommend. I'm just picturing that sun's up there. We're gonna see a shadow here, right? For sure. Yeah, the synthetic brushes, the technology that is with those brushes, like they are very much designed to work and act like there are real hair counterparts. So there are definitely plenty of options for those who would prefer not to use a real hair brush. And again, I support your decision whichever way you go and can respect that. For me, I don't, obviously, I'm using one, right? I don't have problems using some with some natural hairs in them. Okay. Now see, I like the shadow. I added the ultramarine blue in there to really cool that shadow down. And, it might not be quite be in the right spot, but it's close. It's close enough. Just give this one to me. this was this was live without a net. We weren't planned here. Okay. So anyhow, what do you think about the let's see if what happens. Add a little bit more some of this as a shadow. I'm like, where's that other tissue? There we go. As like a shadow in to my cloud. Yeah, I like that. Let's just scrumble some in here. Clouds are something that I definitely overthought. Like when I first started trying to paint clouds, I was like, I can't do it. All my clouds look terrible. My brush is not soaking wet. It's just damp. Just I want to blend some of this in. So you see, it's not real wet. I can't even reactivate this paint here that's sitting on my palette. Yeah, it does not want to activate. Wonder Twin Powers. We need some water and paint. There we go. Eh, did I ruin it? Oh, do I like it? Not as much. We'll just dab a little bit of that out. Call it a day. Say, walk away. Walk away. I think I liked it before. I didn't mind this one, but I think it got carried away, which is easy to do, and that's fine. Um, it was just playing with the color. I just wanted to see what will this color do. This type of, to me, fun, intuitive painting. Oh, you know what? Let's take our M-gram gouache that is sitting here drying on the palette. Let's pick that up. Brighten up. Wow, that really brightened it up, didn't it? Brighten up our sun. There we go. Not worrying about making it perfect, like the whole thing, but that just right there, wow. That brought some light in. Hi, Michelle. All right, so yeah, I mean, how will it lift? That was like ultramarine blue. Let's see. Let's just experiment a little bit. I mean, if you don't like it, what's the worst that can happen? If you already don't like something, yeah, I did mix it with like quinacridone colors, so it's not surprising that it doesn't want to disappear. It's fine. Yes, these are the things I'm telling myself to try and convince myself. Do you do that? Do you try to convince yourself too? Oh my goodness. So if you came for the art hall, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I got. And again, let me know in those comments. You want to see that vintage art supply haul? And do you want to see the rest of the haul? Because there were other, this was just a little part of it. These paints were just a little part of what I actually got. Here, now I'm just fiddling, like, so for sure, like, let me know in the comments and I will film it. It would be a regular video. I'm not going to do it on another live stream. And speaking of live streams, if this is your first time joining us, I hope you'll come back and hang out again. We are usually live, usually every Thursday, starting at 3 p.m. And, we just do some artsy stuff. Usually I am working on a painting. Every now and then we do something different like today. I just wasn't feeling that great before it started, and I wanted to make sure that if it was something I needed to like speed it along and do something quick, that I could just share with you my new supplies and we could go. And then look at, we're still here. I'm feeling much better than I have felt all day. All right, so it's not much. It's just a quick little intuitive painting just to play with that new quinacridone sienna. I like it. I want to see what else I can do with this. If you like the type of painting where it's just intuitive, put the colors down, see what happens, see where it goes. I really want to do some more of that. I want to do some more experimenting with that kind of spontaneous landscape, intuitive landscape, whatever you want to call it. So, oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm seeing your question there, MJ Pete. And let me just share that real quick. But as I was saying, like, I want to try to work on these some more. So if that's something you would actually like to see happen and follow along with my journey on that, because I'm sure that the more I do, the better they will get. Let me know in the comments because that's something that I really want to explore. So the needle brushes are by Golden Maple. The set is a set of 4, and it's a 4, 8, 12, and there is a size 16. That one's it's big. She's a big one. Not here on the desk at the moment, but I definitely recommend these brushes. This one just looks fat because it's dry. It's nice and dry. It would look just like this one if I got it re-wet. This one's still firm because I haven't used her yet. That's the big old 12, and there's yet one even larger. And there is a discount code in the description. So you have a link and a discount code. You will get 20% off these bad girls with the code Clark20. If you order directly from Golden Maple, I had no issues with them arriving nice and safely. They packaged them well. Definitely recommend. I absolutely recommend giving these ones a try. It's one of the first reservoir brushes that I have used that the way they release the paint, they don't flood it. And it's so easy to come in and add details. I showed you guys this again, it's been a couple weeks back when I first showed these. Right in the beginning, and I have timestamps on that video so that you can just go to see those brushes. The length that I kept going before having to reload that brush, it was a long, long, long time. That was this guy that I used, the 8, in that part of the video. And yeah, it just was like the Energizer Bunny. It just kept going and going and going. So check them out. Definitely recommend them. I love the feathering I got here, how that just kind of looks like grasses in the distance. If you want to see my journey on this, I'm going to be doing more of these. You let me know because it's easy to hit record on something like that and just you see what happens. And if you don't like it, then share it. And it's only a piece of paper. Don't be afraid to throw some paint on a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper, right? Guess what? I can take this off. There's another one underneath there. And the medium paper, again, there's a discount code in the description for cotton paper. This one I am really loving. All right. So there is a closer look with that quinacridone sienna from Daniel Smith. Not disappointed. Which paints should I add from the M Gram to my palette? Let me know in the comments. There's a discount code for this too. This is the older cover. I'm still working through this one. The covers have changed, but it's the same paper. And I definitely recommend that. Again, discount code and link in the description. If you are a channel member, just quick bit of business. If you are a channel member or a patron on the creator tier or above, tomorrow would be the Zoom session, but I have posted a notice about that in Discord. I'm not going to be able to do the normal time because I'm going to be out tomorrow morning. I don't think I'm going to be back um, for the time I would normally start. So check Discord. I'll make sure I post it on Patreon and for you in your YouTube community section, uh, just to kind of poll and see what time, we can go a little bit later. So there's that live chat tomorrow at 10:30. Again, I'm going to be on my way, headed out to meet some of the girls. We have to, or we don't have to. We are going to Moore Manor, which is a lavender farm, and we're going to get to paint there. And I'm really excited about that. So I'll have stuff to show you guys from that, maybe some reference photos that we could paint. Next Thursday, we are doing our July calendar page. This was June, if you guys remember. We painted June. We're going to be painting July next week. I have some ideas for what we're going to paint. I have to test it out, make sure it works, but definitely, I hope you will be tuning in next Thursday. We're going to paint July. You can absolutely paint along, paint your own calendar page. It's definitely July themed. If my test one works out very well, that is, and that's what we paint. What I am thinking is definitely a July theme painting. We're gonna try a new twist on painting fireworks. So again, I'm gonna give that a go beforehand and just kind of test it out. Stick around on Discord, channel members and patrons, because I will show you some behind the scenes. We'll see how that goes. You can be a channel member for as little as $2.99 a month, and you will have access to Discord and behind the scenes stuff. So definitely worth it. It helps support the channel, helps keep things going, helps us, add colors that you guys suggest to the M Graham palette. So that's where I'm going to leave you. What color do you think uh, I still need to get to add to my M Graham palette? Is 24 colors going to be enough? Is 18, that palette has 18. So is 18 colors going to be enough? I mean, I think it could be, but it's going to be hard to choose the 18 I'm going to use. So we had that and our, how can I misplace that tube? It's a monster, right? Our M Graham watercolors. My idea for the watercolor palette to put my new M Graham in so I could still, like this little guy, take it with me when I go plein air painting. Everything's linked in the description below. They are affiliate links. If you use them, it definitely helps the channel out, and I appreciate you choosing to do so. Our moderators, Tara, who I don't think was able to be here today, and Joseph, thank you so much for all that you do. Their channels, they have channels here on YouTube, and they are linked in the description below. So if it was your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will come back and see me again next Thursday when we paint our calendar page. Again, that's 3 p.m. Eastern time. And until next time, my friends, keep creating, and I'll see you in a video real soon. Bye, guys.